Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Julie. In today's video, we're going to talk about how to scrapbook photos that are very, very bright, or in this case here, very, very red. Now, I've been working through older photos. These are photos of baby Jasmine when she was only 7 months old. And I'm also taking the opportunity to work through the new sketchbook that the creative design team has put out. And this is the sketch that I'm going to do today. Now, the reason why I chose this sketch is because I have 4 photos that will go with this sketch. Now, let's talk about paper selection for just one moment. Now, you might think, let's do some red paper, because that was my first thought. And I went through a lot of my mix-ins and I pulled a lot of red papers. Now, it's not the same red and the pictures themselves don't pop. So I thought, you know what, maybe I can use the backside. There was a lot of decisions to be made to find the right pattern paper for these very red and bright photos. Here you can tell that definitely the background is fighting with the photos. So I thought, okay, maybe red is not the way to go. I looked into some of my older collections. This is an older collection. It's a Valentine collection and it's a little bit softer. And I thought, you know what? This is better. Like, it's not fighting as much. But again, with all of the red, I didn't think it was the right choice. What do we have here on the back? This is actually kind of cute because now you can see the photos more and you have a pop of red, but the photos are popping on this pattern. I wasn't quite happy with this one as well. So I kept looking, and I tend to go to my mix-ins when I'm trying to find a pattern paper that is not too bright and not too predominantly a theme. So I kept on looking in my mix-ins and I thought, oh, this is fun. It's got a little bit of a pattern. It's got a little bit of red, a little bit of blue, and I think it's going to lend itself really nicely to this sketch. So I thought, okay, let's move these away, but I still needed base pages. So I thought, okay, this is good. The next contender was this kit right here that I didn't really get a chance to put together. It's got die cuts, it's got stickers, there's a lot of nice red, and look at this. Now, isn't this gorgeous for a base page? Here are what they were meant to be used as, but I'm thinking I really, really like this for my base page. So let's put this on. Right like so. And you'll notice that the journaling spot is in the same spot. That was a pure accident, but I thought, okay, maybe the paper is trying to tell me something. So I'm going to add my photos here, and you can tell that with the nice white background, the blue, and if I introduce this paper right here, I think that this is going to work. You've got a little bit of the blue, you've got a really pretty background that I didn't have to do anything with, and I really like the white. Okay, we're settled on papers. Often people ask me, where do you get your inspiration? And definitely the photos and the colors. I'm very inspired by colors. Let's look back at the sketch. I'm going to use this darker color here for this pattern, and it repeats itself a little bit on this side. So I will repeat this pattern here, but I need a piece for the top. Now, I went stash diving quite a bit, and I have a scrap from a Dream Maker. I think this was probably one of my favorite collections. And if I pull my sketch here, I need a piece right here at the top. I like the soft pink, and there's different colors to it, and you can see that it's pulling the richness of her skin tone, and it's kind of like the same thing. This is a bit of a distress background, and so is this one. And this little branding strip right here, you can see it on the sketch, It's perfect. I love the little hearts. I love the pop of color. All right, so now we're settled on our pattern paper. Now we need to work on our embellishments. I don't have embellishments per se for this paper collection because, as you can see, I've pulled from lots of different paper packs. I thought this would be a really good opportunity to play with some of my new dies. Now, the new dies that I got are the outline numbers and the outline alphabets. And let me show you what I'm going to do with these. They are so much fun to work with, and you'll get to see that in 1 second. The other new die that I did get is the decorative shapes, and this too is going to play a role in this sketch right here. If you look at the sketch, you have banners here at the bottom. So I was thinking this is for her baby album, and I'm documenting the months. So I'm going to spell out the word month right here at the bottom. If you look at the sketch, you look at the banners, I think that I can put months right underneath this photo, and I'm going to put each of those alphabets inside an actual banner from this here. So I'm going to have my M, and it's going to be sitting, and there's going to be all these little banners at the bottom. And then I know that this is month 7. Oh, here I've got a big star. I'm going to take the bigger banner. I'm going to bring this probably up here. I might change some of it. And I'm really thinking that I'm going to ground that with a circle. And then I'm going to add my 7. And I think that's going to look really, really good. I can definitely add flowers and hearts. And I can pick whatever color I want because I can create my own embellishments. So let me cut all of the pieces. I'm going to prepare the base pages, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to prepare my words with these die, and I'll come back and I'll show you the next step. Let's take a look at the progress so far and the color choices that were made to really highlight and accentuate the photos. Now, I did add a little pop of black because the photo wasn't really standing out all that much. Let's bring back the sketch. The pieces are not adhered down, but you can see that I have a continuous piece here, and I think I'm going to run this clearly across. Here it does not. I think I'm going to add a little piece on this side of the layout. I just feel that it draws your eye into the pattern that's here underneath these photos. Now, I'm not sure if you know this, but these new alphabets, they cut into 2 if you want. I'll show you here. I did go ahead and I cut them in white, and then I cut them in flamingo, and you get a negative and a positive. So I chose to use the pink with the white on a light banner. And the banner is to represent what you see here on the sketch. I think that that's going to look really, really cute. I'm also playing with these really fun shapes here, and I added them around my photos, but again, I didn't want it to be too heavy. There's lots of pretty flowers in here, but I opted for something a little bit smaller to represent the stars right here. And then I added some banners to represent this bigger star or this bigger element if you want. And you're probably wondering where I got that same color of blue. Well, I struggled with this one because I tried to do it. You can see that I have several options here. I did it in the dark, in the light, in the white, and it went on and on. The winner at the end was I sacrificed some of my back piece right here to cut a circle for the 7, and I think that that's going to look really great. Now, the next thing I'll do, I'll adhere down all of the big pieces, and we'll come back and we'll build the rest of the banner together. But I also know that I need to add a tiny little bit of black. I always have an inking tool with black on it, and I usually don't go into my ink pad, and I just want to have a tiny little bit of black. Not too much, but enough to pop off the page and to help with the black that I've introduced on this page right here. So I've got a lot of moving pieces. I'm going to adhere a few down. We're going to come back and I'm going to show you how I'm going to build my title with my banners, and we'll complete the layout together. I wanted to show you how I adhered down all of these little letters because they are in two pieces. And you do have to compensate for the frame when you're putting them down. What I did is I used my mat and I kind of lined everything up. I went up 1/2 inch and I added my letter and I went a little bit higher. Now this one here, you see that it's going to kind of go over the banner, but that's completely fine. Your tweezers are going to be your best friend. So I'm going to add a little bit of glue. And again, a little bit, not a lot, so that I can move this around if I need to. So I've got my little banner here. I've got my 1/2 inch mark. I'm going to go up a tiny little bit to compensate for this little white frame. I'm going to add again, tiny little amounts of glue, not a lot. And I probably don't even need some on the edges here because it's falling off the edges. But I will put some on regardless. And then I'm just going to fit that in. And I'm going to let it dry with a block on it. And then we're going to work on our banner here. So it's going to swag over. So if they're not exactly at the same position, that's going to be fine. I'm going to bring in just some white twine. I'm going to wrap my banners around here just to create that swag, but first I'm going to let everything dry. I've slipped that piece of twine right at the back of the banner, and here you see me adding 3 dots of glue, not a lot, and I'm going to work from each end and work towards the center. That way it's easier to space out each of the letters. So again, here you see I've got 1, 2, 3 little dots, no more than that. And then I'm just going to go at the edge of the photo to make sure that my word is nice and distributed. Not my word, but my letters if you want. I'm going to let these dry and then I'm going to flip them over. And I think I want to wrap each of the banners around that piece of twine. I think that that's going to look good. That's why I actually place the alphabets lower on the banner. So here I have it flipped over and I'm going to just trim off that piece of twine and then take a look at this. By adding that piece of twine, you can curl up your little banners as much as you want or as little as you want. So I thought that that was good. My idea was working. The next step here is to fold them back onto the twine. And adding a little score line really helped with that process. Now you can see here that I'm folding back on each of the banners. I'm going to add a little bit of glue. I'm going to secure them down, and that's going to create an extra little detail at the top of the banner, and I'm sure that they're not going to fall off. So you can see here I'm showing you once again that adding a score line to each of the banners made this process go a lot faster, and it was a little bit more accurate if you want. I'm going to make sure that everything is nice and dry, and then I'm going to flip this over and look at that. Isn't that sweet? I love it when an idea that you have actually works. And now I can curl it if I want, but I want to make sure that it's going to fall kind of naturally. And remember at the beginning when I said if they weren't exactly straight, it wasn't going to show, because we were going to curl them up. I really like the way that this turned out. So let's talk about the layout now and where we are. And I didn't ink the stress in black. I did for the cut pieces here, but not for the banners. I'm going to introduce up here these banners. And again, I'm not going to add any ink to those. And those are just straight on, so they represent this star. If we move right here on the other side, I've got this darker flamingo color that kind of continues on with the title. And then I brought in a few of those shapes from these right here. And if you know me, you're probably surprised that I didn't use the big flower. And I'm going to show you why. I think that this is nice and sweet. And again, the focus is on the photos. Now, I did audition a whole bunch, and I felt that by putting this, it was just a little bit too much. Now, I could add some flowers here, you know, to further embellish this page, but sometimes the photos just speak for themselves. I'm going to have my journaling right here. I'm going to adhere down these pieces, and I might just add a few gems and call this layout good. I don't want to overdo it because, again, the focus is on the subject matter. So let's see if we can slide this into place with the adhesive. It's a little tricky because you have to kind of go right at the edge of the photo. If you don't push down on your banner pieces, you can make some small adjustments. And then when you're happy, you can just push them into place. Now, there's no glue here where the photo is. I really, really like the way this turned out. I'm going to adhere these little pieces here. And then, you know me, if I can add flowers, I managed to add those. And I think that adding little pink pearls in here and white pearls is going to finish this off really nicely. All right, so I'm almost done here with this layout. I'm going to add a few of these dots, and I'm thinking that I'm going to go with the darker pink. We're in the home stretch, but I do want to add some of these little words here. Remember the moment. I think that they are the perfect embellishments, and there's so many cute ones. You have my heart. It's the little things. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp these. I've already cut myself long enough banners because I think I'm going to put one here and one here. So let's go ahead and stamp those. I'm going to use archival black because it's nice and dark. Let's give this a little test. That looks good. Let's take a look at the completed layout together. If you remember at the beginning, I was having a hard time with these very bright photos. I had to audition a few papers, and I ended up with stuff out of my stash and a few paper collections, and they all complement these photos now. I was super happy that I was able to use these great dies to further embellish my page. I love this title right here. And I was able to add a few clusters, nothing too big, but a few clusters here and there, and it just finished this page off beautifully. If you remember, we started off with this great sketch right here. If you're interested in the printable download sketchbook, I will link that information down in the description box below. If you've learned anything in this video today, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. I do appreciate it. That's it for me today. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.